Father, we thank you for tonight's session. I thank you for everyone here and even those on the way. Father, we ask for understanding. Welcome you, Holy Spirit, to this meeting. You are the Spirit of truth. You are the Spirit of understanding. Come and help everyone get a grasp of what they need to do in this season. Let tonight's session help every single person here gain clarity and know the best way to approach all that they have set out to build. Thank you, Father Lord, because I know you have heard us. For in Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. Amen. Okay, so today's topic is two topics actually, which is gaining clarity and on mentorship. So I think the majority of tonight will be on the mentorship and discipline part, but I also wanted to address this issue of gaining clarity. And so many people ask, how do I know what I really want to build? What I really want to build? How do I know what to focus on? Because we live in a world where there's a whole lot of things coming from different directions. This person says, oh, you say this one is the new oil, this one is the new this and that. And you tend to start asking yourself, how do I really know what I want? And an insistence of clarity is very, very important. An insistence of clarity can keep you grounded, because you don't know what am I really meant to be doing now. So there are always two approaches to this, and I think a question that was asked yesterday touched a particular a major, what I call a major cause of this, because somebody is in school, and the person I get questions like, oh, I'm a student and I'm studying and have a day job, but this day job I just do it because it pays, and it's not something I want to do for the long term. I'm just doing this day job to make ends meet, and at the same time I want to learn a skill. You understand? So it's practically the person trying to do three things at once. And the most advice I normally tell people that the truth is that you can only do two things at once. You can't do three at once, especially those that do intensive courses like law, medicine, because your course material is very, very huge. And if you're not careful, you see yourself failing a lot of courses because you have a lot of things to cover. So I mostly advise, especially medical students, that even if you want to do at most, have to do two. So if you're somebody that probably has seen yourself through school, or that you need to work to either to support yourself or your family or other, then the advice is always for you to school and work and fit in any little time you have to learn a skill. But majorly about skill is about, okay, when you're done. And if you're someone that maybe you have a guardian or a parent sponsoring you through school, so you don't have to bother about your school fees and things like that, then you can be schooling and learning a skill. But always trying to do those three things at the same time, working, learning a skill, and schooling, is very, very, it takes a toll on you. And one aspect normally suffer, and most times only school that suffers. So it's better you give more attention to school for the show, because school is a passing phase, just 4 or 5 years you're done. Then once you're done with graduation, then you can move on to other things. But so I branched to say that, because somebody asked a question on that yesterday. But clarity, there's one thing you have to understand, that the way you understand, you probably understand clarity is different what clarity totally is. Because for most people, clarity is them trying to, they want to figure out everything from the beginning. So they're trying to go on this journey to build this or that kind of brand, and they want to safely be able to predict how they'll turn out. And the truth is that it's not it's not your fault, because everything that has to do with career in the traditional systems is kind of predictable. You understand? So you know that, oh, once you're entering primary school, you know that after 5-6 years, you're writing a common entrance and you get a common entrance. Then you enter school, 3 years, you're writing your junior YEC. After another 3 years, you're senior YEC, writing JAM. It can predict the next 16 years of your life when it comes to education. And due to the fact that education is the major driving things that our lives have been built around, we now tend to want to transfer that mentality over to everything that has to do with doing a career. But the truth is that you can't predict it that way. it's more of a what, taking one step after the other, because the society we lived in was designed around formal education and not informal education. So nobody is very very any school you have seen that has to do with skill acquisition now, it's made by either maybe this thing governmental bodies, private individual, or institutions like the church that's like, okay, we need to create a program for this, for people to learn these skills that can help them. So it's not fully integrated into society the way other things that have to do with your formal education, your WAEC and all those things are yet. So now there's no words like WAEC, and so they have the school body, the school board, and all this kind of stuff that regulate these things. So now it's as if everything is happening from different directions. Everybody has their understanding, or everybody has their let's say beliefs of how these things should work. And at the same time, there's no one size fits all for this. Everybody is unique in their own way. Because we know we talk about a whole lot of things of like, school is calm and this thing, this or that. And it's because we have come to understand that, oh, the way school is structured kind of stressful and a whole lot of things, and there's no joy. But at the same time, it had to be done that way, because it's very, very, I don't know whether you have tried, even if it's managing a WhatsApp group, if you say that catering to individual needs of people is very, very hard. So at the end, you find yourself that you have to start going back to certain frameworks that everybody has to work with. So that's what there can be more a kind of this thing, when I say order. So the society as we know is not designed for informal education. It's not designed for the online business are trying to do. It's not designed for those things are trying to do on the internet, or that's those skills are trying to learn and offer it to businesses. We have not gotten to the point where that is what. But it's very, very important. Okay, I didn't say this earlier, but if you are listening to me, please make sure you are writing. It is a note that you take that would that you would take that from this conference. By tomorrow, if you're not writing after this night, by the time you come tomorrow morning, you will remember very, very few things. And so make sure you're writing. It can be a digital note, can be a pen and paper. I need to just make sure you're taking things down. And I'm not in a place to fully look at what is happening on MixLR, because I have Zoom open so I can maximize the video for recording. So those people on Zoom, please, you have to be my eyes and ears. So if anything happens, notify me. If my voice breaks or whatever, let's use the chat box to notify me. I think I have like 7 volunteers here in Zoom with me. But it's very, very important that you understand this. But going to the this thing, that of gaining clarity. How do you gain clarity? You'll find out that what there's everybody has that knowledge. The thing that started this for me, it was Miles Morrow that helped me understand this. And he says that what everybody has one of the ways you know what you have been called to build, or what you have been called to problem you're called to solve, are those things in life that annoy you, those things you see in life that annoy you. But just that, because sometimes you have not learned how to look out for it yet, you don't understand. And after I listened to that message by Miles Morrow, I looked back and I started seeing it, because then uh, me and my friend Zona, we this thing. He's like, so Zona has been my friend for, I think next year will make it 10 years that we are friends. Like, we became friends in 2013. And in those early days, when we are going somewhere, walking on the road, I'll see a poorly designed billboard, or a company that has they choose the wrong brand name. And I'll always complain. I'm like, what kind of name is this? What kind of name? I always complain about it. And him to like what is going through these people's mind when they choose this kind of name. You understand? So someone can open the school we actually saw, and the name of the school is School of the Second Born. Like, they chose one very, very funny name. And I was actually very, very angry that day. I was like, how can somebody choose this kind of brand name? So I've always had that when walking on the road, I'll look at billboard. I'm like, what led this person to choose this kind of color? This thing is just, there's a lot of things. The brand name is, you understand? So I was always complaining about those things. So then it was after I listened to that my message that I found, but I've actually started teaching about branding online before that. But that my moral message helped me connect these two fathers. The reason why I'm very, very good at talking about branding is because it's something that is the things I'm seeing in life that is making me angry. So if I see a poorly branded, be it a personal brand or like I'm very, like when I talk to people, someone will say, "Oh, this is my name for my." I tell the person this name is not good, and sometimes the person is already emotional attached to it. I'm like, is you either have to choose whether you are trying to this brand name is for yourself or for the growth of your business. So is what is very, very important. So that's one of the things that helps you understand clarity. There are things that you see, there are things you want to build. So that is not because when those kind of desire comes, you're probably feeling that, oh, I'm not qualified for this. No, you're not meant to start doing this thing now. One of the biggest lessons I learned last year was the fact that God tells you to do something does not mean you must do it now. So God probably is opening your eyes to that thing so that you can start setting structures for it. It might be something you have to do in 2 years' time, in a year's time, in 3 years' time. Because before when I say because when you know that oh, this is from God, that means you're like, I already have a lot of things on my plate. How am I going to manage this thing? So it's always important to stop yourself and ask that, okay, this thing I'm hearing now, is now the time? Or am I meant to wait for, or is you are probably being showed that thing so you can start preparing. So there are a lot of things you have in your heart right now that you love to do, a lot of things that you love to build. And you're probably thinking that I'm not qualified to do this. No, it's not, you must not start it now. The question you need to start asking yourself that what are the skills required to build this thing? What is the knowledge? What are the things I need? What do I need to be good at in order to start building these things? So once you get that, Bible was talking about so that's what if you before you build a tower, you have to sit down and count the cost. So you have to see when you sit down and count the cost. Okay, what will it take? Okay, I have to be good in this. Do I need to learn how to build a website or for it, or do I have to learn online marketing to get more people to know about it? Every single thing there's always a skill set required to build. Like I always tell my students, your business growth is directly tied to your personal growth. You cannot divorce these two things. A lot of people business are not growing because they're not growing. They think they can just wake up day by day and that means their business will keep magically growing or customers will magically. No, it's the rate of your personal growth that determines the rate of your business growth. Be it a personal brand, be it a business brand. If you're not growing, if you're not getting better, if you're not learning, your business can't grow. It's directly proportional. You can't change that because it's the things you pick up and learn that will determine what you're able to build. So when it comes to clarity, my goal is for this night is to get you to understand that what those things that those voices in your head, those things you're having a nudge to build, those things that I would love to build, I would love to do this. It's very, very valid. And if despite the fact that you probably don't have the resources or the knowledge or whatever you need to start building it now, this is what is the process for it. Everything has a process. You can't jump process. I was doing my devotional last week. I think it was last week, Thursday, and the person said that God loves you so much to skip process because what you have to go through process, not just for the fact that oh you this thing is not for maybe it's not a way of making you they're trying to make me to suffer. Why can't they just give me this thing? But it's the process is going to give to you a lot of things that will prepare you for the journey ahead. It's just like a man that is trying to build a skyscraper, and you now say, "Oh, how much will it cost to build a skyscraper?" They will not say, 100 million naira." Then you now say, how is this thing costing 100 million naira? Then you now say, do not say, only foundation is going to cost 40 million or 50 million. You know, which foundation? Something that they cannot see. No need, just put the block on the ground and start building it up. So those things that's what you always want to tend to avoid. They're very necessary to building. Like I always say, the best shortcuts to take in life is to start taking shortcuts. There are a lot of people that you have told yourself that you want to learn something, you want to learn a skill, you want to start a business, then you ask people in that business, okay, how long? Because this is the normal question people normally ask about, be it online business or whatever it is they're trying to learn. And the person says, how long will I start? Well, how long if I start making money? They will not tell you that, oh, you need to give 9 to 12 months of consistent effort to make money in this business, to start making money and seeing returns. Then you not say, 9 months is too far. Then you end up spending 1 year not doing anything because you're trying to find a shortcut to take 9 months. You probably started 2021 and told yourself, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. And when you answer, it will take time before I start making money in this. You're not trying to like dodge, you're just trying to find, and 2021 ended and you did not do anything. Now you're 2022 again. It's time for you to learn from that lesson and understand that what everything that would have significance has to be built. There's no shortcut. And grace does not mean that what you will not work. My devotion this morning, the lady was talking about Jesus. And she said, oh, Jesus is the Son of God. He had everything, he has all the power. But he took his prayer ministry very, very seriously. He prayed religiously every day. So he was the Son of God, he had all the power. But while everything, it still had to go through that kind of process. There's some things you cannot just hit aside because you think that you have a certain kind of leverage. And you find out that there are some processes that you jump that it will come back to haunt you in the future. Then you start wishing that you actually took out time to pass through those processes. There's always that desire to like achieve big things. There's always that desire to like get to the point where you are this thing, you have everything is working for you. You have a whole lot of big things and a whole lot of that. I remember that time when I was small, I was always wishing that when I see the way I thought that grown-ups were enjoying. And I always say, oh, I want to grow up. I wish I was an adult, because there were some things I was seeing grown-ups doing that I felt that it was freedom for them. And as a little child, I'm very, very limited. Then now that I'm an adult, there's some days I just wish I'm a child because the bills are not small. So at every point you have to appreciate that point and find out what is the lesson here from me? What am I meant to learn during this season? Because life is a life of times and seasons. So any season you don't learn from, the probability of repeating that season is very, very high. So it's very, very important that with contentment, you do a honest review of yourself and know that, okay, this is the stage that I am. What will it take me to get to this stage? Then what you start putting in the work. And once you have to understand that what everybody's journey is different. Most people struggle or think that they are cursed or have issues because they are looking at a man's harvest. And when the day the man was planting, they were not there. And they're like, this person is already harvesting. And without knowing that you yourself have not put anything in the soil. And because this is one of the biggest issues for young people today, they're always being pressured, or even it's not about feeling pressured. They always see this person talking about how they got this or got that. But they don't ask themselves, what brought this? What enabled this person achieve this? So when the person was doing all those toiling late nights and all those stuff, you were not there, you were not seeing the person, but you are seeing the person's testimonies. So it's very, very important that you understand this. Clarity comes, but it does not even come at once. It starts from you being faithful. The Bible says that what he who is faithful in little will be put in charge of how much. So those little dreams, those little aspirations, those little things that are coming to you that you believe you can build. And there's different ways this thing can come. So if you are in a place and people, everyone around you, they are like this, you say that, oh, this person is building this, and like I can do that. My mother was talking to a young man, and he was like, because he said that don't say that, oh, because I'm always preaching about the kingdom and ministry, that everybody has to do ministry. That probably your dream is, your goal or your purpose should be to build a very, very big film studio that will create good movies. That he was trying to get them to understand that what, don't bottle yourself up. That every single dream that you have is valid. The most important thing, you need to start asking yourself that what do I need to start now? So that will lead us to the second aspect of tonight, because I'm trying to take this thing step by step. I don't want to jump anyone. So the next thing is the next second version. Okay, let's take a commercial break. Let me drink water. So for those just joining the session, if you go to the Telegram channel, you see the last message I dropped there. So just repost that message on your status so that other people can join. You understand? Just we have a target, and the volunteers have been working hard to reach as much as possible. So you can also help us in that our endeavors to help us reach as much people as possible. So just check the Telegram channel. You see the last message I dropped there. Just copy and paste. You can share it in groups. You can share it on your status updates. You can even share it on Facebook. But help us reach our goal and help as much as possible. Start the if I'm laughing about my commercial break phrase, help as much as possible. Start the year right. It's one of the best gifts you can give to anybody in this season. Okay, now that we are done our commercial break, we are going to the second section. How many people have been writing? Let me hear from you guys in the chat box. If you have been taking notes, can you indicate? And also, if you have reposted that message, also indicate. Let me know this thing. Anybody that is missing the session, that maybe if you came late, once the session ends, I'm posting the recordings to YouTube. But I always say that the fact that there's a recording does not mean some people hear there's a recording, they don't can sleep. There are sessions that you say that, oh, there's a recording and you left. That you have not come back to that recording since. You have not listened to it. You have not watched it. The reason I'm recording this is that for the very, very long term, whenever somebody comes to me with questions, I'll go and direct them if you can watch that video. And being live would help you get the ask questions here. Recording, there's no questions. So if I'm among those people that want to leave now because of recording, when you finish watching it, if you're coming to my DM to ask questions, I will charge you money. This conference is free. So make the best use of it. But if I say that, oh, you pay 5,000 or 10,000, people are saying they don't have money. They don't have money. So it's free. So the fact that it's free does not mean you should not utilize it properly. Maximize it because it comes only once in a while. Okay, so the second aspect of mentorship. The second aspect of mentorship. So one of the messages I get the most on social media is I want you to mentor me. You understand? And there's one important thing that you have to, let me use this time to at least treat that issue. Once you have to understand is that whenever somebody is building and you want to learn from the person, the person, first of all, the person has limited time. Like me now, I have limited time daily to keep up with a lot of things. I'm forever falling behind WhatsApp messages. I think currently I have over 800 or close to 800 messages unreplied on WhatsApp. A lot of people are angry at me because they tell me I'm too proud that I don't reply messages, but they don't even guess what I'm passing through. But at every time there's a concept of permissionless apprenticeship, or let's say permissionless mentorship. You can get, so I shared an old post because every Thursday now I go back and republish an old post on my new website. And the funny thing that post I shared today talked about this thing exactly. So before we start talking about how to find mentors, let me talk about the right mentality about mentorship. You need to understand something. That's in this day and age, this is no longer the period of time where you say you want to learn carpentry and your father will just take you by the hand and cross 7 mountains and 7 seas and come to a big carpentry workshop, and you not tell him, please take in my son. Take in my son. I would love you to teach him carpentry. Then your father and the person will now sign an agreement and say, okay, my son will be with you for 3 years or 4 years after you settle him. Yes, that thing still happens now, but the world we live in right now, the internet has made it possible for you to make somebody your mentor without their permission. You don't even need their permission. Because and how do you find such mentors? Look for the people that put out content. Because it's for every person out there that you feel I want this person to mentor, the person has hundreds of other people. And most people just come and say, oh, please mentor me. And you now tell them, okay, like for example now, so there's some people that will still come to me now in the coming weeks and months, and they'll like say, actually, I want you to mentor me. Then I'll tell them, okay, go and watch the recording of this conference. Then send me the notes. Then I'll know where we can start. The person will not come back again because they don't want to watch the video. They feel the video is too long. Those kind of people, they want to grow, but they want you to hold them by the hand. They want you to come to their house and hold their hand and say they're learning how to use crayon. They don't want to take responsibilities for themselves first. They want you to do all the job. If you are like that, you can't get mentorship. Because what that person you call a mentor, the person is what you want that person to mentor you because the person has built something. So the person is building actively. So you coming and you're not serious is a waste of the person's time. So what you are not what this is not a place where you are pampered or where you are spoon fed like 6 to said. This is a place where you'd actually put in the work. The funny thing is that what I don't take in one-on-one mentorship. Like someone say, oh, do you do one? How much will I pay you for me to do one? I don't do that. Not because I don't want the money or what, but most times, I don't accepting money, most of the times, taking money from those people is just a recipe for disaster. I remember one time uh somebody came and she said she wanted to learn how to build an online brand, and she even paid. So the course. So I like whenever I'm releasing a course, I describe everything that's. So yeah, for those complaining, you can't click on links. MixLR chat box does not accept links, so you can any link posted is not clickable. So that's why I drop links on the Telegram channel. That's just it. So if maybe you want to connect to somebody, you might just be better off just taking the person's phone number. But links don't work. You can't be clicked. Okay, so where was I? So I was talking about this thing, permissionless mentorship. So you find out that what the I was telling the story of the lady. So she read. I said, okay, read through this copy. This is what the course is trying to teach. Read through the copy, and I remember that particular course. I was teaching people how to find this. This was even at this mentorship matter. How to find, because what I was trying to do that I could not teach people everything. So I was creating a framework that anybody could use. That no matter the skill you are trying to learn, you'll be able to find the right people to learn that skill from, be accountable, it's a whole package. And she paid for the course, came in, and I was even giving her examples of like these are the places you can go and get this. Then this is the framework you can use to learn fast and start monetizing. And she was like, oh, that she thought I was going to be the one teaching her everything. I'm like, is that see, there's a part I have to teach you, and there's a part you have to go out on your own. And she was not having it. She wanted me to like do all the work. Maybe I don't know what she was going to call her on the phone daily. I was like, it's not going to work. So I was like, and after a while, she started saying, I said, it's not cost fight. Send me your account number. And I sent her money back. So what is very, very understand that this is a time of season. Yeah, yes, mentors would what mentors are meant to give you is a map. You have to go on the journey yourself. So it's like you are trying to go from point A to point B, and you don't know how to get to point B. And it's either you spend years and months trying different routes of how to get to point B, or you pay a mentor that will give you a straight route to point B. That's what mentorship is. Even if you are paying for a course, what the person is meant to give you is a map of how to get to that destination fast. The person is not meant to go on that journey with maybe carry on the back and walk the whole way. So what is very, very important that you understand this. What you should be looking for is principles that make things work. That's why every of my course goes back to the first principles. Because I found out that what worked for me, the route that worked for me might not work for you. So it's very, very important that you know the principles, so that you now know that yes, even though this part does not work for me, you will always know how to create a different path without struggling. And even the people I do special mentorship for, I'm not actually pick them. I'm not the other way around. Because when I see the amount of work they put in, I say, yes, this person is serious. Most of them, they end up being surprised. I'm like, okay, come, see. Because I've seen that they've put in the effort and they're serious. So it's not even them reaching out to me to mentor them. I'm not reaching out to them, calling me mentor you. Because they've shown proof of work. So it's very, very important that you understand this. Very, very important. That's the right approach. Mentorship in this day and age is largely permissionless. So now going to finding mentors and all that, over 99% of my mentors, both in the past and the current, When I say 99, no, it's 99.9. They don't know who I am. They don't know where I am from. They don't know whether I'm black or yellow. They don't know I exist. I go out there, dig out the best content on anything I'm trying to learn, study it religiously, and take action. Because what? They have YouTube channels, they have blogs, they have newsletters. All I need to do is subscribe and what? Consume. They don't need to know me. They don't need to have my WhatsApp number. They don't need to be following me on Instagram or Twitter. My very, very first online mentor was John Morrow. I started following him from 2011. And John also was someone that's also opened my mind to what's possible when you set your mind to something. John is paralyzed neck down. He can only move his face. But he used a speech to text software to build the biggest blog in the internet as at then. So he made me understand that the only thing that matters is your will and what you have set out in your heart to build. Every other circumstances that life might throw at you does not matter once you're determined to build what you want to build. So it is very, very is very important. Those people creating accountability groups, if you read that blog post, I gave the framework for how to build accountability groups. So many people are shouting that they want to join accountability group, but you see that they'll end up joining and do not even drop a message in that group. So if you're creating accountability groups, anyone you're creating, it should be a temporal one. Then you check those requirements I dropped in that post. It's only people that meet that requirement that you should add to the permanent one. If not, you end up creating a group that's nobody will drop message, and it will be only stickers they'll be dropping there. All right, back to what I'm saying. So how do you find mentors? You understand? How do you find mentors? So the key to finding mentors is understanding one thing. That's the best quality information is available online and it is easily accessible. Now, I'll say something. That's that there's an abundance of information currently. What's lacking is the will. So now I want to give the framework of how to choose mentors. You understand? Because a lot of people are struggling because they don't understand this framework. For everything you are learning, for every skill or business, that there are actually two parts to it. There's an art side of it, and there's a business part of it. For example, there's a difference between music and music business. Those things are two different things. If you don't understand this, you find out that you become. There are a lot of people that are so talented in whatever it is they are doing, but their earnings does not reflect. Even talking from the place of music, I know that there are musicians, they have the best lyrics, they have the best voice, but they don't have fans because they don't understand the other aspects. And I know I don't start mentioning names. Some of them pride themselves in being the best lyricist and say nobody's my mate, but they're not making money. So what is very, very important is there's an art of business and there's a business of art. The art of business is everything that has to do with making money from whatever it is you're trying to learn or build. The business of art is everything that has to do with becoming very, very good at that thing. So for example, if I'm trying to learn carpentry, what is the business of art? The business of art is everything that has to do with creating the best furniture, the best making use of getting the right tools, building the best, producing the best quality work possible. Because even if you know how to market and your product is not good, nobody will buy. So when you finish doing all your ads and sponsored ad, when they arrive and see your product, they'll just hiss and go. So that's the business of art. Then there's the art of business. The art of business is everything that has to do with making money from that thing. Everything that has to do with making money from that thing. You have to learn it. So now when it's time to pick mentors, so when you go on the internet, be it YouTube or blogs, you find out there are two types of mentors. There are mentors that teach you how to learn, no matter what skill or business it is. There are mentors that teach you how to learn that thing, become good at that thing. And there are also mentors that teach you how to make money from that thing. So in case of software development, the person is not just teaching you how to code, the person is also teaching you how to get jobs. You understand? So when it's time to pick mentors, it's important to choose mentors that are well versed in these two things. It's important to pick mentors that are not just teaching you the art of the business, but was the business of the art. So that's what you'll be able to what you have an all-round experience. Making money from a skill is not dependent on learning multiple skills. The money you're looking for is not found in a lot of people that finish learning design, they're learning development, that tomorrow they're learning content writing, they're learning data analysis, they're not doing fashion design. That oh, I want to use this my skills now to sell this. But it's not what if if you can't figure out how to make money from one skill, 10 skills will not help you. I made my first million from just writing. I learned writing and what I made my first million from writing. Before I started adding growth hacking, brand, all those every other thing like design and those. I had figured out how to monetize what that my one skill. Because a lot of people they have finished learning a particular skill, there's no jobs, and they're not branching off to other things, thinking that is when they become the Thanos of tech, that they will now be that jobs will mysteriously start finding them. So it's very, very important that you understand this. The money you seek is not found in learning multiple things. Yes, there's going to be a point. I'm still coming to skill layering. There's going to be a point where you have to learn more things, but you should be learning more things to increase your worth, to increase how much you can charge, and not saying that I need to learn an extra skill so that I can finally start making money. It does not work that way. So from the ground up, you have to what you have to ground yourself in the business of art. You have to ensure that whatever it is you're trying to learn or build, that what you can start making money from it as soon as possible. When I started writing online, I started making money from the very first week. And it was majorly because the platform I was writing on made that possible. But even when I started learning product design, from the fifth, fourth, fifth month, I already started making money because what I understood this thing. And it's tomorrow I'll delve deeply into this. You understand? I'll delve deeply into this tomorrow. But what is very, very important that what you don't just go out there and start learning things, but at the same time start figuring out what. So when it comes to picking mentors, for everything you're trying to learn now on the internet, there are hundreds of people picking it. So first of all, there's some people you really connect with their content. I can't explain this. It's when you go out and start reviewing people. There's some people that you naturally connect with their content. Fine, pick them. Then the next thing you should be checking yourself: does this person pick? Is this person balanced? Does this person also teach how to learn this skill and also how to make money? Go through their content. If they are if they're not teaching, but at the same time, there's some people you find and they're really, really good at teaching you how to learn that skill. You understand? So don't abandon them. Stay with them. Then maybe you now have to find a second person. But for everything you're trying to learn, the maximum amount of mentors you can have is two. And I said that because what there are a lot of people now that are trying to learn software development, and in the first week, they already subscribed to 10 YouTube channels. And do you know what causes that? People go for multiple mentors because they're looking for someone that will tell them that what you can achieve success overnight with this thing. Maybe the person is telling you that you have to spend 9 months learning how to cut wood before you can start making chairs. 9 months is too long. Then they're looking for someone that will tell them that it's possible in 2 days. It goes back to that problem of trying to skip process. There is nobody that will teach you how to make money in any industry overnight. It takes process. Unless you want to go and do what rituals, or want to go and do fraud. But anything that would have significance, you have to build it with time. So don't jump from mentor to mentor. Today you're listening to Chris Do. Tomorrow you're listening to this person. Like you're just confusing yourself. Like one of the things I do from time, like this January, as we were entering the year, I unsubscribed to many newsletters. Even me that I'm very, very serious about picking people, but I still had to unsubscribe to a lot of things. I went on YouTube, unsubscribed to many channels. So it's very, very important that you understand this. Picking mentors, you have to be very, very intentional about it. And also, the person does not need to know that you exist. The person does not need to know that you exist. One of the biggest testimonies I've gotten from people as people who just told me that, oh, I've been following you for 3 years now, your content. Have you able to achieve? I'm like, I don't even know this person. But the person has been following my content for 2, 3 years. Sometimes I go out, I meet people on the road. Like, Julia, I know you. When do you meet? I followed you on WhatsApp 2018, 2019. I say, wow. So I don't know them one on one, but it didn't stop them from what learning from my content, reading my articles, taking courses, and what. So it's very, very important that you understand this. That picking the right mentors, you have to what? You have to balance it. You have to balance it. Having 10 mentors on one thing does not guarantee you make money faster. You're only confusing yourself. And going back to that issue of process, once you need to understand is that you find out that what this person will tell you that I took this route and achieved success. That then maybe you now say, oh, but this person told me that this is the route you took. Don't follow that route. It's stressful or it does not work fast. You understand? You need to understand that what if you want to go to let's say you live in Lagos and maybe you are staying in Lekki and you want to go to Yanipaja. There are different roads you can take to go to Yanipaja. But no matter the road you take, you can still get there. So look at mentorship that way. That every single mentor will have a different route, but it still leads to the same destination. What you should need to understand there that the most important thing is what consistency and hard work. Forget about the road anybody took. Because you probably started learning something, and what somebody else is telling you that, oh, I took this route instead. Then you're abandoning that one and jumping on that one. It's a pandemic because a lot of people don't like to hear that you have to pass through process. They don't want to spend 9 months, they want to spend 6 months being good at something. Then they end up wasting 12 months of the year doing nothing because they're jumping from pillar to post. Today is 30th January. Have you started building those things? Are you still in New Year mode? Are you still eating New Year chicken? Are you still saying jingle bells? But the year is almost over again. So it's very, very important that you understand this. It's very, very important that you understand this. Picking mentors needs to be, you have to be very, very intentional about it. And what, know that the maximum, for everything you're trying to learn, the maximum is 2. So now to the concept of skill layering. I think somebody asked this question yesterday that is it possible to learn multiple skills? Yes, it is. And I'll just use my story to explain this. So I believe you should also now be able to learn from it. So when I started trying to build a brand online, the number one skill I had was storytelling. That was my number one skill. I was very, very good at storytelling because what I read a lot, both books, but I remember when I was growing up, I was very, very Can everyone hear me? I'm back. Can everyone hear me? I'm trying to. Okay. I'm trying to get. I switched another line, but I don't really trust it. So let me subscribe my MTN again. MTN is just. Okay, so I'm back. Is the people on Miss LR hearing? Let me check up on the people on Miss LR. Let me check up on the people on Miss LR. Okay, if you can hear me on Miss LR, type voice. I believe this will not affect the recording because I reconnected fast. If you can hear me on Miss LR, can you type voice so that I'll be sure that voice. Remember, we say we use voice so that. Um, That way, I can be sure that you are hearing what I'm asking currently. Okay, thanks, Sharon. Sharon Deborah has given me the signal that I need. Okay, so then back then, due to the fact that I read a lot, I read stories a lot. I was what because the best way to be a good writer is to be a great reader. So I read a lot, I read stories a lot. So storytelling came naturally to me. So I knew what to write stories, to create stories. So that was my first skill I picked up, storytelling, and I kind of picked it up. Will I say naturally over time. So when I started learning how to build an online brand, uh, it helped a lot. So then when I started my blog, I didn't so it was after that I started learning content how to develop content for online. You understand? So now and I discovered that was the best kind of content are the ones that contain stories. So what I lay out my storytelling skill with what my wow, someone is saying no sound Miss LR. How many people are having the no sound issue? Okay. Okay. I think it's your Soma, I think it's your network. And you can disconnect and reconnect again. So then when I started writing articles, I started layering my storytelling skill with my content development skill to write articles that what people could connect with. Because what the attention span on the internet is very, very tiny. Back then, now it's more, it's infinitely tiny now. You understand? Oh, I'm getting voices breaking complaints on Mix LR. What's the matter, people of God? I'm trying. Oh, even the. So for us that are here, make sure we follow this account here on BSLR so that you can gain access to even future sessions. Because I broadcast every Wednesday by 10 p.m. So make sure you are following. All right, so a lot of people are saying it's working. Some are saying, I think it's a network issue. I right now I switched to Airtel, so I think we can continue. So if you're having a network issue, just exit and reconnect. So I believe the issue is going to be solved. All right, Pam said press mute and then unmute again. It may help. Okay, let's continue the session. So I started layering my storytelling skill, my content development skill to write the best articles. You understand? So now, then, that was when I beat my blog in 2017. I already started learning online. Then I started going, and I said that, that's online communities. And so by default, the best kind of best way to build online communities is by education. So I was also creating educational content, and naturally I started building a community online of people who wanted to learn how to build an online brand. So then I went deeper and learned more things that has to do with it takes to build a community. So now you can see the natural progression of these things. I was not learning these things differently. I was layering them on top of each other to make my online message better and better. Then what? And that's okay. Now, community what? It was even recently I got to that word, community marketing. So I was layering what that skill on top of each other. So for years, I did mostly that. Then I started also going into the aspect of skill acquisition, which is basically growth. Because for you to grow anything, be it your personal brand or your business brand, you need to learn certain skills. So I started doing studies. What are the principles? Because I knew that I could not teach people everything. I could only teach people something that has to do with content. Some people probably want to learn how to write software or design. I could not teach these things. So I was not focused. There's some people that, they just go out and just mash things together. One of the most dangerous things you can do for yourself is because when you feel that you have built authority and people trust you, then you cannot start teaching them anything that you like because you believe they want to learn it, even though you're not good at it. The kind of person I am now, I teach only 1.5% or so of what I know. If I want to start releasing courses every week, I won't run out of things to do. But what I always ask myself that what do I there are two courses I wanted to launch last year. And even at that point, I even started preparing to launch it because I felt that what I could actually do them. But I really sat down and like really did a hard thing that can I really give people the best quality this thing. Even what I was planning to launch was still great, but I knew that I could do better than that. So what I didn't launch them, I scrapped them. So the kind of brand I've been able to complete the kind of brand that if I release those courses, people will have bought it. But I was not 100% satisfied with the delivery. And it didn't even mean that people will buy that people that buy it will not still get results. But I was not 100% comfortable, so I didn't release them. Because it's easy to, once you start letting go of those standards, you find yourself sleeping lower and lower. And then one day you wake up and you have gone rogue. So one of the most dangerous things is to abuse the trust or any authority you have built around your brand because you just believe you can and people cannot do anything about it. It's not just for you, but them for you, but also for you. So I started focusing more on but for everything that has to do with skills involves learning. So what are the principles that involves in this learning, and what are the principles of learning that cuts across everything that people are trying to learn? So I started doing studies on that, applying it. Every single course I'm putting out, you can go to my seller channel and check every single of my course. There are things I have worked on, I've seen results on before I started putting them out. I started making money on WhatsApp before I started teaching people how to make money on WhatsApp. I started making money from NFTs before I started teaching people how to make money from NFTs. I was able to become very, very disciplined and rule my day before I started teaching people how to rule jazz. Because it's easy for you to just this abundant information. It's easy for you to put things together and just start teaching. But because where you now know whether you're good is when people start coming to you with questions. Will you be able to answer their questions satisfactorily? Will you be able to give them a certain level of guidance? Because like I said, there's a central principle that everybody has to abide with, but everybody still has unique needs. When that person comes with their unique needs, will you be able to map it to those principles and give the person a framework to work with? So what is very, very important that you understand this. So I was not going out learning because a lot of people, do you have design enthusiast on your bio, upcoming developer, a future web this thing designer, like all those, and enthusiasts have been on your bio for 3 years and you have not built anything. Because you have that fantasy of your head that you want to be the all knowing, and you keep jumping from, and you have not mastered anyone. So I'm not saying you should not learn different skills, but learn them in a way that you can layer them. So after adding growth to my community building and being known as a growth hacker for months, April 2019, I layered product design on top of it. So now I could design products for businesses that helps them drive growth. So I started learning product design. So you find out that if you're looking from outside, you say, oh, this guy is doing content. It's layered. And one thing that helps me to do is that what it enabled me charge more than what other people in the market are charging. People come to me and say, I want you to do this. I'll give this. It's too cost. Someone can do it. I can't meet them. Most of the times they come back. Because the total value I can give them far supersedes what someone that has only one skill can. Because like it's not just I'm not just giving them the art. I'm giving them the business aspect. There's no our guys not about building the best website. So how will your business make money? Because I'm not I mean somebody that will design it for you or whatever. But if they finish designing it, say, okay, do you know what it takes to make money from this? No. So you see why my price is different from the person's price. Some of you believe that the way to make money is to reduce prices. So there's someone who say, oh, it costs 100K to build it. You say, I can do it for 50K because you believe that's what you devalue your time and your efforts. So it's very, very important that you understand this. It's very, very important that you understand this. Yes, you can learn different things, but layer it. Learn it the way. Like this year now, I'm layering another thing on top of it. I'm not talking about it yet till end of the year. But it is still it is that same line. So it's very, very important that you understand this. Very, very important. Because all these things is going to factor into your ability to build discipline. If you don't have clarity, I think it was Isaiah that said that when there's no vision, people perish. Another translation said that when there's no revelation of the future, people cast away self-discipline. It's hard to be disciplined if you don't have an understanding of why that thing you're building is important. A lot of people, your issue with discipline and consistency does not come, it's because you have not settled the foundational problems. And you think your problem is discipline or consistency. No, your problem is that you don't know why that thing is important. When you understand why that thing is important, it's become easier for you to be disciplined. For a very, very long time, I didn't have anybody to keep me accountable. But what I was still able to build, because I had an understanding. I remember when I did my blog 2017, and I was in school then. There were all the Wi-Fi spots in school. Everybody know me that then they used to call me Wi-Fi Lord, Emperor of Wi-Fi, King of Wi-Fi, because everybody know I'll go to that place. I'll blog from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. Everybody around me didn't understand what I was doing. Everybody around me didn't know why what I was doing was important. There was nobody there to motivate me or give me encouragement. But I was able to keep on building, showing up every day to build, because I had clarity. I had an understanding of why what I'm building is important. And it was meaningful to that because I was not depending on the people. The reason I'm talking about accountability in this conference is that because a lot of people have genuine problems with their environment and they have not learned how to build the right online environment for it. So that was possible for me then because I first of all have built an online environment of myself. I saw people like myself around the world building things. And the fact that everybody in my physical location did not get it or thought I was mad, I was crazy, or that I was just roaming around. I knew what was possible in my mind because I've connected with people that was not in my location, and I was letting their principles guide me. Some of you give excuses that nobody's here to encourage me. You're not yet serious. Plug out. What you have to understand is that the people around you will never understand who you are and what you carry. The people that are underrated the most are the people you live with, are the people you attend the same school with, are the people you attend the same church with. You are always going to be underrated. Everybody that knows you, especially people that watch your growth over the years, they will always underrate you. God himself was not recognized in his hometown. The people of Nazareth did not send Jesus. God himself, you not think that it is you that is going to accomplish what God could not. The people of Nazareth did not know who Jesus was. They didn't accord him the respect he needed. Because they saw him as the son of a carpenter. They knew when he was still running around in his father's workshop with running nose. So they could not get that he was the Messiah. So it's very, very important. Don't gauge your validation One of the things I learned last year is that what, don't change your validation of, don't wait till some people celebrate you before you celebrate yourself. Don't be too addicted to validation. Don't it's not when if like it's not when people so like sometimes when I see people, the kind of tantrum people throw, they say, oh, that's you didn't post me, or I posted a picture. Like, are you okay? It's very, very important. I'm not saying you should not honor people, I'm not saying you should not celebrate people. But if nobody celebrates, you celebrate yourself. If nobody recognizes what you carry, don't also let yourself down. I always tell my students that what you're probably not taking certain steps because you are afraid of rejection. But the most dangerous rejection in this life is self-rejection. The rejection that you should be concerned about is not that this person rejected me or that person rejected me. Is whether am I rejecting myself? That's the most dangerous type of rejection, self-rejection. Because nobody knows who you are. Nobody was there when that vision was placed in your heart. So they don't understand. They're looking at you from the external. So you have to understand this. If you don't have the right environment around you, be the right. Don't allow if the people around you does not rate you, rate yourself. Don't depend on the validation because it is the people closest to you, and it's not a them against you problem. It's a general problem. Every human being has that problem. What you keep seeing, you stop celebrating. What you keep seeing, you stop celebrating because it becomes normal to you. I used to give my students this example. I tell them, remember back then when you were eager to get your first smartphone, and you are so excited, Android phone. Then you finally get the phone, or even iPhone 13. Then you finally get the phone, and I'm getting an issue of no sound. Sound check. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you type voice in the chat box? If you can hear me, can you type voice in the chat box? Okay, I think it's just a passing problem. Networks fail from time to time. All right, so back to what I was saying. So back then, I want to get a smartphone. Then I remember that then I was staying in Lagos. I was so eager to get a phone. I was contributing money to somebody to get a phone for me, and he was much older than me. But as I was contributing money, I didn't know that it was my money I was using to go to transport to work every day. And I felt I was contributing money to buy a phone. And that contributing money for him for weeks. He didn't buy the phone. He was using my money to go to work, eat at work. Because I was trying to get a phone. So it's very, very easy. You find out that, but when you now eventually get that phone, that iPhone 12, that iPhone 11, use it for 2 or 3 days. All the excitement it fades. It's not like a normal phone to you. Because you're not seeing it every day. Then I really watching it on YouTube, on Instagram. You're blushing. Oh my God, I need this phone. But now it's in your house now. Throw it one corner. So it's a general issue because we're created in God's image and likeness. We have eternity in us. It's fact that we live in time. So that eternal minds is there. So you have this thing, okay, I don't see them. You see finish, I've entered. So what you keep seeing, see Elon Musk, see Elon Musk, you're living with Elon. Yeah, Elon Musk is the richest man on the world. He said he's my mentor. By the time you start living with Elon Musk, by the time you not live with him for months, if you are someone that don't understand honor, you find out that you now start, this man has come back again to disturb us. Maybe he used to say reading session. Because you are not living in the same house with him. So probably we hear box and come out of the parlor, say, look at this man. So it is very, very understand. Don't depend on the people around you. And this thing I'm saying does not give you license to dishonor. one of the things that can help you. Honor is so important, it's so big that what the people that this know how to honor, they get things easily. Once you understand honor, not a lot of people understand honor, but if you're someone that has an understanding of honor, life is going to what, be less hard for you. So if I'm saying that, oh, that people don't recognize, does not mean you should start dishonoring people, or you should start. That's your business. You can keep your life stagnant. That's your own. One of the biggest things that goes me to where I was now, where I am now, is an understanding of honor. But I'm teaching this thing for you so you understand that what, that if people around you are not hailing you, don't let it affect how you see yourself. Muhammad Ali was always told himself that was, I'm the greatest, and was he ended up being the greatest. There's no boxer alive or dead that is greater than Muhammad Ali. So it's very, very important that you understand this. It's very, very important. So somebody's asking how to, no, learn honor, learn how to honor people. Somebody's asking me how to avoid see finish to other people. Learn how to honor people. Go and learn honor. There are lessons on honor. Go and learn what does it take to honor somebody. Learn and be very, very intentional about it. Like I said, the fact that I talked about this does not mean you should now. That's your business. You're causing short. I'm working with honor. There's some people that what I don't. Like I told some people, some of my mentors are younger than me by what 4 years. Like I'm older than them by 4 or 5 years. But it does not make me say this person is a small boy, this person is a small girl. I still honor them and give them that due respect. Because what they are contributing in one area of my life. So go and learn it though. The fact that I said that see finish happens doesn't mean if that was your business, you see that want to cut your destiny short. So it's very, very important that you understand this. Discipline. The foundation for discipline is clarity. The foundation of discipline is building the right environment for yourself. Like I said yesterday, some people, once I come online and see their posts, one of my mentors was teaching us something, and he says that whenever he goes to see his mentor, that on his way back, as he's driving home, he used to abuse himself. That you're stupid. You're very, very you don't know anything. Why? The discussions they had have showed him the place where you are behaving like a fool. You have showing knowledge gaps. So what is very like me now? When I go when I go back and read some things I wrote August, July last year, I'm like, look at that's my courses. I always update them. If I bought my course, you see that I started them in a way on seller as well. I update them from time to time. So and everybody that bought it would always get the new updates. Because what things you see that as time goes on, learning happens. You get better and better. So what the foundation of discipline is not joining a WhatsApp group and looking for who will press your neck or who will hold your hand. But first of all, understand this thing I'm trying to build. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to me? Why does it matter to my future? That way, even on days you'll be charged up. And it still does not mean that there are days you will not be tired. But now you know that what you have people around you also that can motivate you. But if 100% of your discipline is hinged on someone else, you're in trouble because that day the person will not be able to reach out to you. You now see you now waste that whole day because you're in an accountability group and the person did not post anything today. So guys, this thing starts from clarity. Discipline starts with clarity. Discipline starts with clarity. Knowing why what you are building is important, and knowing why what you have to build that thing. It comes before tactics and strategies of being accountable. Once you have the revelation of why that thing is important, it's easier to build. It's harder to cast away discipline, but because you know why. So I believe it's 11:45. So I think we have come to the end of day 2. So question time. If you have a question, can you drop it in the chat box? If you have a question, uh, drop it in the chat box. So yes, I dropped my WhatsApp link yesterday for those people that were saying they want to connect with me on WhatsApp, because I post other stuff, educational stuff on my WhatsApp status daily. So I'll drop the link again in the Telegram. So the reason why there's some people when I take people to register for this conference, the conference is free, but most people don't want to register because they know the link to this to listing. But they don't know that registering is what give once you register, you'll be able to join the Miss LR the Telegram channel, because I'm posting resources and a whole lot of things there. So you imagine I want to start sending it to your DM one by one. I'm not. It's not work. So that I say register for this conference. Join the join the join the Telegram channel. So like I posted a lot of things last night. So people in the Telegram channel have posted that resources. So register and join the Telegram channel. It's very, very important. So let me do it now because I forgot yesterday. So I'm posting my WhatsApp link on the Telegram channel. Reposting it for those people who maybe probably did not see it, or those people who just joined. So if you're not in the Telegram channel, so if you're just of this session tonight, message the person that gave you the link to so that you can get access to the Telegram channel, or the link to register. The link to this conference is on the this thing. The link to this conference is on the flyer itself. But most importantly, this thing, ensure that. So I've dropped my WhatsApp link there. So you want to connect with me on WhatsApp, please, once I message me on WhatsApp, just follow you see a welcome instruction. Follow it so your contact will be saved this night. If you don't follow that instruction, because some people will not, some will just come and type hi, they don't follow instruction, then you do not come and say I'm not replying them, because they're not view my status. If you are sending me a DM, follow the welcome instructions to the letter. I might not have, because now there are over 700 people now messaging me. I don't have time to reply to everybody. I'll not sleep. So follow the instructions so that your contact gets saved automatically, and you'll be able to see my WhatsApp updates. For those people that think they want to learn how to save contacts automatically, go and sign up on my WhatsApp course. All right, so question time. I'm looking at the chat box. To see these things. Question time. Someone asked, I think people have already started asking questions. Let me scroll up and see. Okay, Sharon, I answered that earlier. Balance between career and academics. I said that if you're working at a place and you're schooling, it's best to focus on those two things. Then you know that go for lectures. Well, and one thing I've discovered that people use school as an excuse, but every school year, okay, apart from now that COVID is making it more tighter, but every school year has 3 to 4 months of break. And because those 3 to 4 months are sandwiched in different points of the year, people waste it. They come out from school, they spend the holiday period catching cruise up and down, and was not actually making good use of their time. But if you are schooling and you have a job, you can do those two things. But if you want to start adding an extra thing like going to learn another skill, it's going to start giving you issues. So it's either you focus on school and skill acquisition, or you focus on school and your work. Then after you graduate or during holidays, you can now start touching other things. So everybody, depending on who you are, like I said, if your parents are sponsoring you or guardians, it's easier for you to focus on school and skill acquisition. But if you're not seeing yourself through school, you have to focus on your work first. Then once you're done with school, you can now start looking into other areas. These things are it's personal. Everybody has their own their own cross in this regard to carry. So it's very, very important. Yeah, so I said I'll create all products. I said I'm creating a discount code for this event. I didn't share it yesterday, but it's limited, so only 100. So about 1,000 people are signed up for this event. So first 100. So you get, I'm creating the coupon right now. I'm sticking self. So you get a 30. No, when I did my birthday, I said I'll never give a discount lower than 27%. So we stick at 27%. 27% discounts for this conference. Okay, so this conference is a special event, so let me give a grace. So I'll do the 30. To the 30. So use I'm dropping the coupon code in Telegram channel. I think it's who that signed up that would benefit from it. So I'll drop the link to my seller page so you can look through the different courses, then know the one. So if you want to, but so the coupon expires tomorrow midnight. So once the conference ends, the coupon also ends. So that's just my way of giving back. Okay, looking for questions. So I think I've answered your question, Sharon. Yes. So scrolling down. Okay, Goodman said, doesn't the permissionless mentorship affect the benefits of access to someone you look up to? So the key to that is that if you don't have access to the person, it should not prevent you from learning to the person. So yes, if you have access to your mentor, fine, great. You can call the person on the phone, right? But it should not mean that if you see somebody that you can learn from that has something very, very important you need to learn, you're not like, oh, because the person doesn't know me one-on-one, I'll not learn from the person. It's not going to help you. So it's what's about balance. If you have access to the person, fine. If you don't have access to the person, it should not prevent you from learning from the person. Okay, scrolling down. Sam says, okay, Sam, your question is quite long, but say normally when starting out on learning new habits, it's always hard, as we all know, and most times like chicken out from the task at hand. What would then look like lack of discipline? So how does one truly get the understanding of what's really important? So the principle for this is what is when setting out to learn is perfectly normal for you. You see, the problem people have is that what, for example, they say that okay, I'm going to be let's exercise. I'm going to do 10 push-ups a day. And Monday they do 10 push-ups. Tuesday they do 10 push-ups. Wednesday they do 10 push-ups. Thursday they overslept and could not do. They find it hard to do the push-up. Then don't ask, I've spoiled this is my goal. No, it's perfectly normal to miss one day. The issues comes when you miss 2 days. That's when you now really fall off. So if on Thursday you could not do 10 push-ups, make sure, see to it that by Friday you do 10 push-ups and continue. Problem is not missing one day. Problem is when you allow that one day to now totally knock you off. There are days you miss out. You're a human being. Human being, not 100% part. The issue starts when you now start, once you now miss out once, you now miss out twice. You're gone. The probability of you coming back is now lesser and lesser. So you can missing once is normal, but don't miss twice. Any day you could not do it, okay, tell yourself, okay, I could not do it, but I will make sure. See to it. I use alarms for this. When learning a new thing or something, I set an alarm for it. By 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. or 9 a.m., I must do this. Once the alarm rings, I stop everything I'm doing and focus on that thing. If for any reason I could not do it that day, I was outside the house, the next day, once that alarm rings, I will make sure I do that thing. You know, a robot that is 100%. Even robots has bugs. People are fast to say, "Oh, I missed out on something and quit," but they don't put that same energy when it comes to coming back to do something. It's easier for them to just tell them, "Oh, I've spoiled." They want to say that, "Oh, I did this for 100 days without missing a day." Are you doing things for your ego or for your future? So what is very, very important, that's what you understand this. Very, very important that you understand this. Scrolling down for questions. Kelly said, what are the beginners guys steps to creating content? The beginner steps to creating content is studying content first. You can't draw from an empty well. So it's tomorrow I'll talk more. Tomorrow's session is more on selling your sawdust. So it's more on content creation. So, but most people want to start creating, most people struggle with creating content consistently because they don't read. Where will you draw the inspiration from? So what this before you can become a great content creator, you have to be a great content consumer. Oh, I made a mistake with this. Let me edit it. Okay. Coming. So you questions. Okay. So, but I'll do more on content creation tomorrow and the right way to create content for your brand. Okay, out of business, listen, how to listen to the recording. That's the whole session that you want me to go back to. Listen to the recording once I post it. Scrolling down. Pam says, is it bad to be something knowing it to be temporal? Your question is not clear. Please, look at when you're asking questions, see the way Sam asks this question. It talks from a personal, make it personal so that and describe what is that. Not giving one vague line does not help me know how to really help you. Scrolling down. Mercy says, can my girlfriend be my mentor? She's doing each person can mentor you. Yes, it's just about you respecting the person and knowing what differentiating between she as your friend and she as your mentor. Luchi say, is it possible to be confused about the order of skill layering? No, I've shown you the step by step. You see, the problem, this thing goes back to that thing I talked about earlier. When you want to figure out everything before you start, I didn't know the order of which I will layer my skills until I started with one. So forget about the order. The fact you can start, the fact that I talked about layering does not, you can layer different things. There's no established order of how you can layer things. You can start with software development and end with marketing. You can start with marketing and end with data analysis. What depends on it is what, just start with one and become good at it. It's the process. You can't figure out all these things from now, starting. You have to start first. Once you become consistent with one, as time goes on, you know, by the time you start getting requests and you know what next to add. Like I said yesterday, there are some things you can never figure out until you start. You're talking about confused about the order because you are trying to now list out everything and you now see which one should I put. No, start with one first. It doesn't matter what it is. The one you're starting with now, the belief that this one, start with it. Then as time goes on, you now know what to add. The funny thing about some of the things I'm layering now are the things I felt that I'm not going to do before. But then I said, oh, I have to layer this one. I have to actually now learn it. I was thinking I'll not do them before, but then I have to start doing them. So it's not, you don't have to, don't try to, this is not WAEC that you know that I'll write senior WAEC in junior WAEC in JS3 and senior in SS3. No, this is unconventional words. This is a different ball game. So don't try to figure out everything before you start. Start. And as time goes on, you know what to layer on top of what. Scrolling down. So Naomi says, I'm a graduate, then I decided to continue my business as a fashion designer. But right now I discovered I need to fix a whole lot, starting from knowing some basics I've never gone through. Packaging, positioning, and I also still have learned how to price the products well. So in the meantime, I decided to go back to tutorials and I thought of opening a YouTube to see what I learned. Taking these steps is a big deal. I really want. Yes, that's how I built my first blog. As I was learning, I was teaching. Like I said, remember, guys, I said yesterday, learning by doing is the best way to learn. So as you are learning, and the best way to create content is what I'm going to link a video that explains this very, very well in a Telegram channel. It's a short video, it's even 3 minutes, but it's like you went straight to the point and hit the nail on the head. You must know, most people think that they have to now have a PhD before they now start creating content online. No, once you learn, even if it's just one thing you have learned, you're qualified to talk about that thing. It's very, very important that you guys get these things. Very, very important. Scrolling down for questions. Okay, David, blogging is tomorrow. Okay, Buchi, I think I've answered this question on skill layering. Scrolling down. I think that's all questions. Okay, for those that are not in the Telegram channel, now I've dropped the coupon code on the chat box here. It's HTSC 2022. So if you go to ajulu.seller.co, you should be able to get any course for 30% discounts. But it expires, like I said, midnight tomorrow. Coupon code vanishes. So it's just for the duration of this conference, and there's only 100 coupons. So it's coupons expire once there is used 100 times by 100 people or 12 midnight tomorrow, whichever comes first. Okay, okay. Luchi says that I am in final year and I'm trying to figure out what. By now, I believe you should have started having an ideas of what you can do. You have been following this conference from since yesterday. You should have started getting an idea of what you can build. And what there's one issue mistake people make. They always think it's too late to start something. They say, I'm 30, can I start learning how to code? I'm 30, can I start learning how to? If you think that is too, you find out that what 5 years will pass and you still wish you started by the age of 30. Last month I saw a man, this man is 52 years old. I think he's even a grandfather. 52 years old. And he's learning how to code. But today that is 12, think it's too late to start. So it's very important that what you understand this. Very, very important that you understand this. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Wrapping up. It's a new day already. Any other question? Any other question? Sammy, I'll teach this tomorrow on how to get jobs. It's tomorrow. So make sure you're here tomorrow. If you're just joining today, install the Miss LR app and follow this account. Very, very important. You're just joining today. Most importantly, sign up. Whether you have joined yesterday, sign up so you can get access to all the resources. Like the lot of things I posted in the Telegram channel today. So you don't have access to those things if you're not in the Telegram channel. You understand? So I've posted my WhatsApp link in the Telegram channel for those that want to connect with me. So on WhatsApp, I'm giving access to updates daily. It's there in the Telegram channel. So all you need to do is just click on the link and follow the instructions. So some people ask, okay, let me put my WhatsApp number here for people that don't have access. 090641074116. So calling it again, 090641074116. 090641074116. Yeah, Moses, yeah, content creation is more of tomorrow. But I think I've laid the foundation for content creation because what it is the mentors you learn from that determine what you learn to teach. Then that video I'll drop in the Telegram channel will also now shed more light on it. But the key to content creation is studying. You have to have you have to be dedicated. You have to study daily so that you have what to write about. You can't draw from an empty well. You can't draw from an empty well. That's just it. You can't draw from an empty well. It's not possible. You are struggling to create content because you don't know what to talk about, and that's because you have not studied enough. So the Bible said that what study to show yourself approved. You have to study. Most people think that if you lay hands on them, just automatically. Yeah, David, I'll post the seller link in the Telegram channel. Okay, any other question? Any other question? I'm scrolling to see if there's a question. I'm scrolling to see if there's a question. Trying to see if there's a question. Okay, let's Father, we thank you for tonight's session. We thank you for uh everyone here. We I believe that you have gone ahead of us to make these things clear for us. We ask for the grace to not just be hearers alone, but also doers of these things we learned. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen. So that's the end of day 2. So I'm ending the Zoom session now because yesterday the songs I played entered the Zoom, and when I was posting on YouTube, it was giving copyright issue. So I'm ending the Zoom recording now. So if you want to listen to music, go to Miss Ella and listen to the music that I'm playing. So good night to people on Zoom. I'm now Miss Ella only.